Get this shit a long way, hit the long way, long way, hit the long way, 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 shit, long way, 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 shit a long way. Gotta get the shit a long way, get the shit a long way. Gotta get this shit a long way. Gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta get a meal, but she don't understand. She be tripping every day, she be tripping every way. But I gotta get this shit a long way. Tryna get money every single way. Tryna get money every single day. Get money every single way, every day. Every day we gotta get paid, every day we gotta get paid, I'm feeling like we be a new slave. No, we gotta finish rich, no, we gotta finish rich. Got a new bitch, she don't understand rich. She don't understand, niggas gotta get rich. She don't understand, sometimes we gotta hit lit. No, we ain't hit lit, tryna get the long way, tryna get this shit the long way. Coach is tryna wrap up an entree. Told you the other day that did my palm strong. We gon' shoot the long way, we gon' get the long way. Get this shit the long way. My bitch be trippin' back and forth like a palm way. My name is Tari, I ain't playing games, so I'm done Tari. Yesterday she told me that she about to leave, man. Said fuck it, bitch, we gonna get some money. Said fuck it, bitch, I'm about to get some money. So what I do today, I went to got some money. Cause we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get shit the long way, back and forth like the palm way, man, I'ma get this shit the long way, get this shit the long way, just the only way today, because they go with shit's crazy, you gotta wear a mask, we the new slaves, and we be wearing this shit like every day, we be okay, we gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, for so we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get this shit long way, we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get this shit the long way, we get this shit the long way, cause we gon' be okay, we gon' be okay, we gon' get the long way,
What up, everybody? What's up? Welcome to the Early Birds, Down South Yella, Mr. QJC, Luminoth, what's up? Welcome to another edition of Savings Minus Debt on this Sunday. Appreciate you. For those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. One second. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to a place that's unlike any other channel on YouTube or the internet. There is nothing like that. This channel, nothing. Why is that? Because there are not many people like me, and there is no business like SMD. So that's why. You can look and you could look forever. You will never get the knowledge that you get here. You will never be able to find it anywhere else. Good luck. Okay. And you probably think, well, what is that, LJ? What do you know that other people don't? That capitalism is psychological. That's how I know. And it's split into two parts, positive and negative. That's exactly how it is because math says so. So it's true. All right. But it's psychological. That's the psychological part. That's the part it's hard for you to understand. Who is that? Who is the hard to understand? That's debt slaves. Debt slaves live under psychological capitalism. Debt slaves live on the negative side of it. And they don't know it. That's the psychological part. They don't know that they live there, right? Let me give you an example. To help you realize you're a debt slave, okay? If you believe you bought a house with a mortgage, when the calculator says that's not true, that you have a psychological problem. You're a debt slave, and you don't know that because you cannot buy a house with a mortgage. Only cash can buy a house with a mortgage. That's what the calculator says, okay? If you believe if you have student loans, if your finance phone in your hand is newer than your student loans, you're a debt slave, because you can't buy, first of all, you can't buy a phone while having student loan debt. And if you're financing a phone, that's like double, quadruple debt slave. I mean, like if you have a finance phone, you really don't understand what that means, what you're telling the world. I suggest this: if you have a finance phone, don't tell anybody you have a finance phone, because there's not many people like me, but we are scattered throughout as friends and schools, and you don't know that we're there. And then when you mention a finance phone, you tell us everything about your finances, because only debt slaves finance phones. Okay? But you don't know you're there. So what I do, what I do is help people participate in the same economy, because it benefits all, right? But I just bring you to the positive side of it. Like right now, debt slaves, they don't know that they're there. They don't know they own absolutely nothing. Debt slaves own nothing. Words like equity, appreciation, debt slaves don't know. Those are words. Those are words that are positive and negative. Okay. Whenever you're using a word like appreciation, homeowner, equity, you got to remember they're talking in the financial context. And if they're talking about it in the financial context, that means it's positive and negative. So if you hear a person talk about equity and you know they have a mortgage and they say they own equity, you understand that they're talking about the negative side of the word equity, negatively. If you hear a person with a mortgage talk about appreciation, they're talking about the negative side of the word appreciation. Why? Because first of all, you can't buy a house with a mortgage. Okay, you can't. And if you believe you're a homeowner with appreciation when you didn't have the money to buy the house in the first place, that means you live on the negative side. That's a plus too. I don't really care. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to be a debt slave, because it benefits the economy. Debt slaves benefit the economy. Okay. I don't want you guys to, I could care less if you believe me or not. It really doesn't matter. I'm just telling you something, right? Well, what I do is help people come to the positive side and live the same way. But over here on the positive side, you understand that capitalism is psychological. You understand that. You understand that there's a different set of rules. You don't commit tax evasion. You don't cheat on your taxes. You don't lie to the IRS and pretend tell them you're not making money when you really are, and you're hiding it. You know not to do that. Why? Because debt slaves are the currency. It's you guys, debt slaves. You guys are everything. The taxes, finance charges, interest rates, whatever they make up, it's you. Okay? Because here's another example, debt slaves. Why you guys hate taxes? You hate taxes because you finance them, right? If you don't have say like you go to a car and you go get a car. It's the price of the car plus tax. The reason why you guys are financing the car, because you don't have the money to buy the car. And if you don't have the money to buy the car, you don't have the money to pay for the taxes associated with the car. So guess what you do? You finance the car and the taxes. That's why you guys hate taxes, because you guys finance them. But that's okay. That's a good thing, because when you come to the positive side of it, you create a successful business. Like here, I'm gonna bring you to the positive side, how you will look at everything different. You come to the positive side, you understand that capitalism is psychological. Now, when you look at companies like the NFL, the NBA, Amazon, Tesla, you don't say to yourself, how can I work for them? How can I invest and get some stock? You say, how can I be a competitor? When you come to the positive side of things, you say, a lot of people have dreams of playing for the NFL. When you come to the positive side, you say, how can I own a team? How can I own an NFL team? Most people on the negative side look at players, NFL players, and like, wow, look at all the money they make. And then when you come to the positive sides, you say, wow, how much are the people making that are writing those kind of checks? You see the difference? That's the difference. How could I make even more money without abusing my body? Because when you understand capitalism is psychological and you come to the positive side, and you realize that you need your body to walk around and enjoy Earth. If you don't have this body, you can't do anything. So when you come to the positive side, you say, oh, hey, oh, okay. How can I own an NFL team? Now, I don't even follow sports. Now, this is for the sports players that follow diehard football. Let me ask you guys a question. How many owners, like the owners of the teams, how many of their family members actually play in the NFL? Do they play? Do NFL team owners' families play in the NFL? I don't know. I don't follow sports, but I'm curious about that because if I own an NFL team, my family wouldn't be playing in the NFL. That just no. How can I own it? That's how you will look at things. So you look at the title of this video, right? I got SMD and then zeros in the middle with a dollar sign, and then 6 cents is on the other side. Okay. What SMD is a the side of the business that helps you out of the debt matrix, the physical, and the debt matrix is the physical things debt slaves see. Because debt slaves, you guys believe money looks like something. You believe it's a Rolls Royce, you believe it's a Ferrari, you believe it's a Lamborghini. Money doesn't look like anything. When you have money, you can make it look like anything you want. But money specifically doesn't have a look. It doesn't look like anything. As long as you believe it. That's the SMD helps you navigate through that world of you, because you can't really tell who's trying to take your money, who's really has money. But when you come to SMD, I help you weave through all that. Put it this way. So say like you see somebody with a nice car, okay? If they're making payments, it doesn't matter what it is. It no longer matters what it is, so it just disappears. You get it? It just disappears because immediately you know it's the bank's car. That's how it works. This is how you'll navigate. So when somebody comes up on you with a very expensive car, you're not going to automatically think that they have money because people with money don't make car payments. You understand? People with money don't finance things that go down in value at an interest rate, giving money to the bank. That's not smart. That's how you know. So say like, as far as same thing, SMD can also help you in your dating life, especially the younger you are. Like when you're a young person, 18, and you're just getting ready to go to college, you don't know which direction to go. You're just going by what your parents are telling you, what people are telling. Hey, you're gonna be a dumb shit if you don't go to college. You don't know which direction to go. The whole time they're telling you, hey, basically saying, if you don't go to college, you ain't gonna be shit. Okay. But kids don't know at that age and say, hey, wait a minute, who's going to pay for this shit? Who's going to pay for it? You go like this. Is college free? Then who's going to pay for it? Oh, you're going to get a loan. You're going to go into debt for it. And they don't really know what that means. It's like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. Kids don't know to turn to ask their parents and say, hey, mom, dad, yeah, do you still have your student loan debt? And when they tell you yes, and then a follow-up question say, wait a minute, that was before I was born then, right? You've had that student loan before I was born, correct? Yes. That should tell you that's not normal. That's a red flag right there. You're not supposed to have your student loan debt longer than going to college. Kids don't know to say, Dad, Mom, Dad, did you go to college for 4 years? Yeah. And your student loan debt is older than me? Yes. I'm 18. I'm going to college. Yes. So you got 20. You mean to tell me you went to college for 4 years and you're paying on your student loan debt for 25 years? That doesn't make sense. That's a red flag. That means they don't know that capitalism is psychological. Now, if this is your parents, it's not their fault. They don't know that. They don't know because the majority of your parents, they believe carrying student loan debt all your life is normal when it's not. SMD helps you understand that's you don't do that. That's living on the negative side of the economy. You don't do that. And as far as when you're 18, you're getting out in this dating world, you guys see social media and you just don't know how to get the right person, the guy or girl. First of all, it ain't got nothing to do with the man or the woman. It doesn't matter. I want you guys to clearly understand that. It doesn't matter if it's man or woman. You don't know which way to go, right? Once you own yourself, you'll know which way to go. Let me give an example, young people, so you can understand. If you come across a person, man or woman, come rolling up and they're wearing Gucci, and then you find out that and if they're making car payments, you don't see that person anymore. You stop seeing them right there. If you find out if they're wearing Gucci and you find out they're making car payments, you know that relationship's not going anywhere. They're doing it right backwards, period. Because if the car is financed, you know the Gucci's financed. That's an automatic. You don't take a person serious, like say like this, for the young guys that are just tripping over a woman's body and where she looks and she got a fat ass and she got big. Hey, listen, okay, your hormones are going crazy. You come to SMD, right? Right? You're going to control all that, because if you come across a fine ass woman, she steps out, she's wearing all name brand Prada this, and then you find out she's making car payments. It doesn't matter. It'll no longer matter what she looks like. It doesn't matter. It will no longer matter what she looks like. Your drive to have sex with her will probably go away, because you don't want to take a chance on getting a debt slave pregnant. If you get a debt slave pregnant, you are in trouble. You will be forever tied to the debt matrix, tied with the debt slaves, court dates, child support, every other father. Hey, you don't want to take that chance. This is what SMD shows you. Your whole day. Here's another thing, young people, so you can understand, because a lot of you guys go by if somebody's wearing the right shoes, or you got to be wearing the right clothes to be cool. You don't have to do none of that. None of that is true. This is all you got to do. Come to SMD, right? I help you own yourself. Once you own yourself, and then you'll look out at all the people that are trying to tell you you need to do or look a certain way. They're going to all be debt slaves. If they're making car payments, if they have student loan payments, they got collections. Who care? You will no longer care about the opinions of debt slaves. Who cares what they think? Who cares what they say? Who cares about their investment tips? If they're investing in cryptocurrency, it doesn't matter, because you will know it's them. If they're in debt, they are the currency. It's them. So if they try to talk about you, and you know their whole world is financed, you will no longer care what they think. Let me give an example of me. I don't care what the opinions of debt slaves have of me. If they disagree with me, they disagree with the calculator. And if they disagree with the calculator, they have a psychological problem. I don't care what they think. If people with mortgages believe they have equity and appreciation, they just believe they have equity and appreciation. That's part of the program. That's what they're supposed to believe. They all run the same Hey, get a house, put a renter in it, and then you cash flow this. They got thousands of videos out there telling them shit that's not even mathematically true. You can't do none of that. None of it. But they don't know that. I'm here to help you not be part of that. As a young person, you coming up, you really don't understand what stress really means, right? You hear all the people around you are always stressed about something. Do you know stress is an option? You don't have to have stress in your life. That's a choice. You don't have to have any of that stress. So when you come to S&D and then you own yourself, you don't allow people with stress and bad energy in your life. You don't allow bad relationships you will have just eliminated 99% of your possible bad relationships you would have had you not discovered SMD beforehand. Why? Because you will never, ever, ever, ever date a debt slave. You will never marry a debt slave. You will never biologically recreate with a debt slave. You would never do that. It won't matter what she looks like. I'm telling you, it won't matter what she looks like. It won't matter how fine she is. You won't care what she thinks of you. If she got student loan debt, who cares? I don't care if you think I'm ugly. So what, debt slave? Oh, look at your shoes. So what, debt slave? You got student loan debt. So what? Oh, you've been having that car for 10 years. Yeah. So, yeah. And you haven't had no car for your entire life. Do you know debt slaves have been making car payments all their lives? You know what that means? And this is, if this is you, if you've been making car payments all your life, guess what? I got some bad news to tell you. You've never owned a car ever. When I was a debt slave, I used to always find it weird that the banks allowed people to roll negative equity into a new car loan. I was like, why would they do that? I was confused because it just didn't make any sense, right? Now that I come to the positive side of it, now I understand why. Because most of you guys are upside down in your cars. If they didn't allow it, the bank, the car loan market would crash if they stop. Hey, sorry. If they said, hey, you have too much negative equity in your car, we can't allow you to have a new car loan, everything would stop. Everything. I don't want that. Hey, listen, you come to the positive side of it, you create a business around that. Debt slaves don't know you're not supposed to roll negative equity into a car. That's locking them into a continuous car financing loop, locking themselves in it. You come to the positive side of it, create a car business. I don't know, invent a car. They got to finance them. Just make, all you got to do is this though. And I'm gonna just tell you this, and this is the part when you get to zero with SMD. I bring you to zero. Zero means you own yourself. Okay, zero means you own yourself, and if you've never owned yourself, everything after zero will be brand new to you. This is where the other side of on the title of the video, 6th Cents, but CENTS. I help you navigate through the psychological parts of capitalism, because you're not going to be able to get the answers nowhere else. Either me or the SMD family on the Discord server, but other than that, there is no other place to look for the answers. Google doesn't have these answers. Once you put it this way, once you come to the positive side, the 6th Cent side of it all, and when I look at Google now, you know what Google really is? It's just a bunch of you guys sharing, bunch of debt slaves sharing information. That's what you guys are doing. You guys, the answers, I mean, they are put it this way, they are the answers that you guys are looking for, but it's on the negative side of the economy. Hey, what's the best way to buy a house? And then they lead you to mortgage loan places. Well, why are they doing that? You can't buy a house with a mortgage. But that's what you guys believe. So that's the way it goes. You see what I'm saying? No different. Hey, look, it's business though. It doesn't matter. But you guys are just on the negative side. You come to the positive side of it. You create a mortgage business. Why? Because debt slaves believe they can buy houses with mortgages. So you come to the positive side, you create a mortgage business, pay all your taxes, get all your licenses that you're supposed to happen. Everything's up to date, all state and federal requirements. You make it so good that they never ever have to come to you because you're following all the rules by yourself perfectly. Everything. Hey, this is, you got to pay this tax, that tax. Okay, cool. Why do I know this? Because it's you guys. You guys when you create a successful business, your customers pay all that stuff for you. Why would you cheat? They're paying and not you. Oh man, businesses have taxes, then you got to pay taxes on the product. So what? The customers are paying all that. Who cares? You come to the positive side, when you own yourself, the business of you. Let me, when you get, let's help you understand, okay? So you can understand what living on the negative side of things does to you. Okay, say like you are a person with student loan debt older than your children. You have a FHA mortgage, right? And now you are wanting to start a business, and you need a business loan. Okay, the first thing the bank is going to do is going to run your personal credit. You know why? They want to see how you've been treating the business of yourself. Credit scores are just like indicators, okay? A credit score is kind of like a way of saying this person pays back the bank's money on time, this person doesn't. Okay, if I looked at a credit score and saw somebody had a high credit score, I'd say, okay, they look like they pay their bills on time. That's it. It doesn't mean anything else, right? They're going to see how deep, see if you own yourself, how you've been treating the business of yourself. And they come across a student loan that you've had for 25 years. That's strike number one. You obviously haven't been treating yourself very well. You got a 25-year-old student loan debt there. And then you got an FHA mortgage, which is only designed for debt slaves that will not accept that they cannot buy a house with no money. So they create subprime mortgages for you. That's for you. You come on the positive side, you create a subprime mortgage business. You will always be in business. You get it? That's why there's nothing wrong with it. Because it's a choice. You guys are choosing to do that. Walking around, I mean, especially again, when you're young, you get it locked in your brain. Hey, the only way to buy a house is with a mortgage. No, it's not. You can't do that. Then you come back to the positive side. That's why I have clients right now. We have monthly calls. You get to zero, you own yourself. This is brand new, baby. Everything's over here is brand new. Listen, same world, different perspective. What perspective is that? The mathematical perspective. When everything becomes mathematically obvious, everything. And then you come to the positive side of the economy and contribute properly. You come be the best tax attorney in the United States of America, create a successful business that benefits our economy. You do another accounting, create a big, huge accounting firm. What does that do? Benefit our economy. If you're like, for example, if you are in any of those fields like that deals with taxes and deals with accounting, especially business accounting, business taxes, and you don't know capitalism is psychological, I'm telling you, man, you need to come see me. If you are passionate about what you do already, listen, if you are passionate about what you do right now and you don't even know capitalism is psychological, come see me. Will your mind have to be strong? Yeah. It's going to be your mind will have to be strong to accept it. Once you accept it, the sky's the limit, baby. There is no stopping. You'll be looking at, put it this way, when I look at people like Warren Buffett, right? A lot of people look at him as if he's just this genius, and the way you guys just look, and then when you come to the positive side, no, it's not. He just understands. That's it. He understands that capitalism is psychological, and he obviously trusts math. That's why he's there. You guys are seeing what you guys, when you look at a man like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, these are people that understand, not only do they have a passion already, they understand that capitalism is psychological. They clearly understand that, else they wouldn't have that kind of money. You guys need to stop thinking that money looks like something. Money doesn't exist for debt slaves because it's you. That's why you guys are always chasing it. You don't chase money, but you guys don't know how to draw the money to you. You got to come to the positive side. When you come to the positive side, you draw money to you. But when you're living on the negative side, you guys are just pushing it away. You're probably thinking, what do you mean? When you finance a car for 84 months, you were pushing the money away. When you didn't pay your student loan debt for over 3 years because of the pause, you're pushing it away. If you financed a new car or a house because your student loans wasn't showing up on your credit report, which made your credit score increase, you're pushing the money away. If you're paying interest on a car loan, that's called negative equity. You're pushing the money away. When you come to the positive side of the economy, everything costs different than the debt slaves. Everything is not the same price for debt slaves. Everything is a different price for debt slaves. It's only the same price for the people that pay cash. If you have five debt slaves going to purchase a $500 PlayStation, say like a brand new PlayStation, the PlayStation is $500. Each debt slave is going to pay for that PlayStation different. Most of them are going to use a credit card. All of them are going to have different interest rates. Some pay their credit cards the minimum payment. Some pay them a little bit more, but they all have different interest. You don't know how much they're really going to pay for those PlayStations. It's all a different price. It's not the same price for all. Debt slaves don't know that. You know how many PlayStations they make? You think it costs them $500 to make a PlayStation? Are you crazy? You know what kind of you know what kind of profit margin they're making? Why would they wouldn't dare cheat on their taxes for what? You come to the positive side, you don't do that. You don't cheat on your taxes. You don't not file. Oh, I don't know. You file late and you do all this stuff, making payments on back taxes. You don't do that shit no more. You don't do that. Debt slaves, you guys don't you guys have no idea. You guys can't even save. You can't save no money on taxes. Nothing. Zero. Nada. And you don't even know it. That's the psychological part. You don't even know it. That's what makes that's what makes our economy so beautiful. Whoever designed this shit, man, I'm telling you, man, it deserves all my respect, all of it. How do I pay respects? By paying my proper share of taxes. That's what I do. You don't even you want to hey listen, you want to get your taxes straight? Say like you just your taxes are messed up right now. So you want to get your taxes straight? Go find a professional tax person who is personally debt free. That is a requirement. Well, you're probably thinking, well, LJ, I can't really ask them about they might get offended. I get it. I get it. You guys are really, you guys are really scared to talk to each other about what's in you guys are quick to tell the credit score, but not what's within the credit report. That's all part of the program too. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple of things to do when going to see a professional tax person. So this is a little homework for you guys to do. Okay, this is because a lot of you guys are scared of taxes because that's part of the program. Make you scared like the big bad IRS or something. They're always after you. They're not after you if you're following the rules. Why would they bother you? Okay, they're not going to bother you if you're following the tax laws. You get it? Now, I'm gonna give you guys a couple of first you find out what kind of licenses education is required by the state you live in. See what the requirements are to become a licensed professional tax person in your state. You make sure you know what those things are, and then when you walk into their office, okay, you have this prepared. You have this with you, what the requirements are, right? You're going to look for those licenses or things that are supposed to be there, or they're supposed to have. You're going to look for that to make sure they're valid. Okay. Second, usually you'll see that and it'll be next to you might see it when you first walk into their office, or they might have it on their wall somewhere. But when you walk into their office, you're going to see their degree. These people love to show you where they went to school to do blah, 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 right? What you're going to concentrate on is the year that they graduated at college. That's your concentration. You concentrate on that year. And then you go, okay, say like they graduated in 2000, okay? And it's 2023. So that means they graduated 23 years ago. You turn to them and say, do you have student loan debt? If they say yes, you leave. You leave that office. You don't take any tax info. You don't pay for any kind of tax info. That's the wrong tax professional. And they don't know it, that you're not. They're a tax professional who doesn't know you're not supposed to keep your student loan debt for 20 years. That's the wrong tax professional. You leave their office. Don't explain why. You just leave. Let me get over here and read some of these. What's up, Nick? What are my thoughts about inflation? Now, remember, inflation is a word used in the financial context. So inflation is positive or negative. So it counts on who is using the word inflation. Is it a person that has student loan debt, car payments, mortgage payments, stuff like that? If a person like that is using the word inflation, I'm not going to listen to what they're saying because they don't know what that means. What's up, Robert? My parents saying to buy their house, take over mortgage. See how they use the words? Buy my house. You just that kind of situation is twofold. Okay, say like you're young, the house is paid off. I mean, excuse me, the house has a small mortgage left on it. Maybe it's really, really low and the equity is really high. I would probably take over and pay the rest of that mortgage off in payments, and then I'll be done. I mean, I'd be done with them. I wouldn't have a mortgage or rent for the rest of my life if I just paid off that small mortgage. That's what a lot of young people don't really understand. If the mortgage is low and the house is almost paid off, would I get a mortgage to cover? Would I put my name on the mortgage to pay it off and it'd be mine? Yes, I would do that. I would pay it off. Why? Because I could have a paid off house starting in my 20s. So while everybody else, this is what you guys got to hear too, debt slaves. While everybody else believes they own a house with a mortgage, I will really own a house with no mortgage. While the other millions of people believe having a monthly mortgage is normal, I will know that it's not. So while they're putting mortgage payments to the bank, those mortgage payments, this is called phantom income. When you don't do what the majority does, the money stays in your account. So when you don't have a mortgage, so whatever, say like the average mortgage was $3,000 a month, while millions of people are paying $3,000 a month, $3,000 a month is staying in your account because you don't have a mortgage. That's called phantom income. What's up, Owen Bird? What's up, Donovan? Wow, I'm 17 and the way you're talking is making a lot of sense. I'm glad I became a member. You are welcome, Donovan, because I believe like when you're 17, right? You're closer to grade school and you still remember the names of your math teachers, which is very important because I want you to understand something. To be successful in finance, you don't need to know anything more than the math that you learned, the basic arithmetic that you learned in grade school. Nothing more. Once you turn 18, understand this. Once you turn 18, now you are a legal adult. Your personal credit report, what a personal credit report is, an owner's ledger. This is how they keep track of all the debt slaves that owe the businesses money. You never put anything on it. Your credit report will show that you own yourself. That's the purpose of a credit report for people like me. Like if you want to prove to me that you own yourself, you show me your personal credit report. Why? Because there will be no businesses listed on there that own you. That's proof. Debt slaves don't know what a credit report really is. They don't know that. That's how they keep track of all the people, the businesses that own them. When you're 17, and I really hope you grasp this, you will be wealthy. But especially not even I'm 50 something, wealthy well before me. Okay, well before my age, well before as long as you don't finance shit, don't listen to debt slaves thinking you have to finance cars, how to get women, you must have these kind of clothes. If they're This is what I'm gonna tell you. Anybody telling you that type of information, you ask them, are you making car payments? You don't listen to a person making car payments. Is that new iPhone? Yeah. Are you making payments on that iPhone? You don't listen to a person making payments on an iPhone. You see your friends using buy now, pay later to buy some Jordans. You don't listen to financial information to people who are making payments on shoes. 17. I love it, man. I love it when those youngsters, man, come in here and hear this. I always think of myself at 17. What have I heard this happen? I think at 17, you already have to have a mindset to even hear me, because I probably wouldn't even listen to a person like me. I was so wrapped up in women and getting this and that. Listen to all my friends. This is what you do. No, you don't. You have to do none of that. You do not listen to other men tell you what to do with your own dick. You don't do that. Hey man, you're supposed to do all these women with what? With my No, I don't want to do all that. You can't tell me what to do. I don't want to do that. That's what you say. No. Oh man, this is what you do. No, you don't. Not me. That's what you say. Are you making car payments? Yeah, that's why you're doing that with your dick, because you're making car payments. My cars will be old, but I'll be having the titles to them all. I mean, and don't even this is what I want people to understand. When you have money and you have an old car, you can make that car look damn near new if you want, because you have the money to do that. So say like you have an older car, maybe the interiors, you gotta take out the old mindset of what debt slaves always do to justify to themselves to financing a new car, right? Some debt slaves will have an old car, but the car is paid off, right? And say like a mechanical problem, say like the car is worth 5,000. Okay, let's go real low so people can understand. It's worth 5,000, and the engine goes out, and it costs 1,000 to fix it. The average debt slave will tell the person, "Oh man, don't put $1,000 inside instead of a $5,000 car. You're just throwing away your money." Blah blah blah. The person that's telling you that, you turn to them and say, "Are you making car payments?" They're going to say yes. They want you to be like them. Instead of fixing $1,000 problem, you fix $1,000 problem by financing a $40,000 problem. You don't do that. Don't listen to people that don't take financial information from people making car payments. You don't do that. Car debt is so normalized in society. It's crazy seeing people pay 600 plus for the car payment and insurance. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's a tough. Hey, listen. Capitalism is positive and negative, okay? So when you come to the positive side, okay, I want you guys to I'm going to give you a look through my eyes from the positive side, since you can't be here until you got to own yourself to even be over here, okay? People financing car normally is that's what they're supposed to do, okay? If they didn't do that, the car market wouldn't exist, because it couldn't exist, because they wouldn't be financing cars, but they have to be financing cars. So when they think when they fight over electric versus gas, it really doesn't, on the positive side, it doesn't matter how a finance car is powered. As long as they're financing it, it doesn't matter. Same thing with phones. You know how when debt slaves, they finance, they fight over Apple versus Samsung. If they're both financing the phone, it doesn't matter if the phone is Apple or Samsung, because they're financing it. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't. So when you're on the positive side, you really don't care about that. When I see debt slaves fight over Apple versus Samsung, I say congratulations to Apple and Samsung, because that's where I'm trying to be. I'm trying to get debt slaves to do that too. No different than let's say like Gucci. Okay, they have expensive products, but physically, it didn't cost as much as they're charging for that purse or that item, right? You know it didn't cost that, okay, to make that. You know physically, like, it didn't really cost that much money to make this belt, right? But that's irrelevant because that's the psychological part. They built their brand. They built it to where debt slaves advertise for them for free. And this is where you want to take your company. Debt slaves advertise Gucci's products for free. They brag about how much they paid for these prices. That's the level you want to get to, where a debt slave will finance a belt for $1,000, take a shirt, finance a shirt for $500-$600. That you want that. Can you understand your profit margin from actually the cost of you making that shirt to selling it to them at quadruple the price? That's the level you want to take. You don't be like, oh, Gucci's so expensive. No, you say, what can I do? What can I create to do the same thing as Gucci? To where debt slaves will brag about my product. Hey, look at this. If I'm wearing this, I'm the shit. Okay, cool. Hey, whatever. I'll keep making it. Michael Jordan did it. That's what Michael Jordan does. They get Jordans. Look how much they're selling for. The average kid that gets Jordans, they know who Jordan is, but they don't really understand why or who he really is. That's irrelevant now. One day they won't even know. They'll be like, oh, who's that old guy? No different than a Madden football game. Same thing. Hey man, you played Madden. They didn't really realize that was Madden, the person. That's the level you want to take. That's the level where I'm taking SMD. That's the level where I'm taking SixthCents. But the advantage that I have is that there's not many people like me. There's not many people that know capitalism is psychological. They obviously. I'm here to help the people come to the positive side of it and create for the economy. We all live better when the economy is strong. If you're on the positive side of it. So like right now, for example, bad economy are two words, positive and negative. There's a positive side of a bad economy and there's a negative side of the bad economy. You guys, debt slaves, are on the negative side of a bad economy. I'm on the positive side of a bad economy. What's an example of being on the positive side of a bad economy? Look at buy now, pay later companies. They're making I'm not making billions of dollars. They're making billions of dollars. That's being on the positive side of a bad economy. How are they doing that? Only debt slaves would ever use buy now, pay later services. Only debt slaves do that. But if you're using it, you obviously don't know you're a debt slave because you're using it and you don't know why you're using it. And instead of stopping and saying to yourself, why am I making 4-5 easy payments on a pair of shoes or a shirt? I need to figure out why that is. How come I can't just walk in and buy it in cash? That's what you need to figure out. That's the part of SMD. That's what I do. I help you figure out why you're using buy now, pay later services. Hold on. What's causing bill collectors to call your phone? Like people that change their phone numbers all the time. These are hints that this kind of gives you guys debt slaves activity. When you're like you're in a debt matrix and you know something's wrong, but you can't figure out what you can't figure out what it is. Because that was me. I was in the debt matrix, doing everything I was told, good credit, college, 6-figure job, nice car, nice house, blah, 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 doing everything I was told, but I still knew something was wrong. Something wasn't feeling right. I just like, people's like, hey, you need to become a homeowner. That's the American dream and this and that. So you just follow along and stop throwing away money on rent and this and that. You're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm being an idiot throwing away money on rent. And then I became a homeowner. I was like, I'm feeling more pressure than before. I mean, I know what I'm using the words now, but I didn't know then why I was feeling that pressure. But I was like, wait a minute, I'm feeling more pressure than before. I was right. Because first of all, I didn't own shit and I wasn't $350,000 in debt for a property. I just had monthly rent. And anything that went wrong in my apartment was covered by the manager or the owner of the place. The stove goes out, I just make a call, they bring in a new stove. But when I financed the house, anything that went wrong, I had to pay for it. Yard needed fixing up or cutting, I had to cut it. I was like, man, something's wrong. This is, oh, you're a homeowner now. Everybody's congratulating me on social media. Oh, congratulations, you're a homeowner. Then I was thinking something doesn't feel right. I had a mortgage. When I was a renter, I didn't have a mortgage. When I got a house, I had a mortgage. That was the pressure. I was in $350,000 more debt than before as a renter. That was the pressure. I owned nothing. It's crazy. Thanks for your opinion, SMD. I will take note of this. You are very welcome. Very welcome. That's what I would do. Cause like, let me give an example. When I was 16, okay, I'm a teen. I know nothing. Okay, nothing. At this time, I lived in Seattle, and my grandparents had a house like just not far from downtown Seattle. Okay, this is prime rental estate property, but back then I guess it really wasn't at that particular time. But anyway, the house was paid off. Okay, I didn't really know what that meant. All right, so when my grandparents died, they gave it to my mother. My mother didn't know, she wasn't really good. I'm just saying after the fact. I don't know this as a kid, but my mother, now that I'm adult and I know what capitalism is psychological, now I understand what happened. She got titled the house. She got given to her by my grandmother and grandfather. And then the banks probably reached out to her and said, hey, you have equity. You want to refinance the house? You can take out all this and do this and that. And for a person that doesn't know anything about money, that didn't actually pay the house off, what are you going to do? You're going to take the money. And what you do, take the money and spent it and did whatever and this and that. And then ultimately, guess what? Lost the house. Now, if I had this knowledge at 18, that would have not went like that. That whole scenario would have been very different. Now, I'm not saying I could have made my mama do what I'm saying, but I would have made sure she understood what she was going to do, what's going to happen if she refinanced the house and take this money. I would add a paid off house near downtown Seattle. You know how much money that house would have been worth? Do I blame the banks? No, it's just business. It's nothing personal. Obviously the bank knew. Because when you pay off a house, the bank knows you're not fucking with them. They already know, so they're not going to bother you. But if they see that house get titled over, imagine this. Imagine some parents had a paid off house, and they decided to leave it with their child. But their child was very financially irresponsible, and you could tell by looking at their credit report. But they decided to leave the house to that child. As soon as they change the title over to the house, the bank is going to know by records and shit, right? They probably know who this person is. They probably have access to their credit and going to see that they've been having financial problems, and then they're going to reach out to them. Hey, you know this house is worth this. You can have some equity. And what do you think a financially irresponsible person is going to do? They're going to take the money and spend it. I don't blame the banks. If I owned the bank, that's exactly what I would do. I would reach out to the person. Oh, you got a new house? Take a look at their credit report. See that is shot. Say that they owe bill collectors and student loan debt, everything. And then I would say, hey, your house is worth this. We can refinance it and bloggity blah, whatever the hell they tell them to give them that money. And guess what? Now I own a house. Now I own the house. Because guess what? They're not paying that money back. They are not paying that money back, and the house is mine. You hear debt slaves always, hey, what are you going to leave for your kids? You get a house and leave for, not if you have a mortgage. What do you think? The bank is no longer involved because you want to leave the house to your child while it's a mortgage on it? That decision is up to the bank. If you have a mortgage, you don't get to just leave the house to who you want to leave it to. The bank has to approve that change. Solve that engine problem with a new $40,000 loan. I know, right? LJ, curious, why didn't you go to college straight away at 18? You know what's crazy? I knew, and I know it's the psychological version of myself today, but at 18, I specifically remember saying, well, I don't know what to go to college for, you know? I just didn't want to go to be going, you know what I'm saying? Because when I was 18, everybody pressures you, TV pressures you. But what debt slaves don't know is that you guys have no money. Of course, you're going to take out student loans to pay for college because you have no money. Your whole entire life, you had no money. Of course, you're not going to have college money. So, of course, you're going to take out student loan debt. They may, hey, you don't have to pay us back while you're going to school. They make it all so easy for you not to think about it. But when I was 18, I was like, nah. I said, I think I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna just get a job and I'm just gonna work and see what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't go. And you know, when you're 18, oh, you're not going to college? Why not? It's like, because you know, when you're that age and you don't go to college, you got all these adults coming to you saying, oh my God, make you feel like you're wasting your life away if you're not going to college right away. See, when you're young, you don't know to ask the people that are saying that to you, do you have student loan debt? If they say yes, you don't listen to people like that. They have student loan debt telling you about college. You still have your student loan debt. Obviously, you didn't pass math. Why? Because your student loan debt is 25 years old and you went to college for 4 years. How did you get past math? Man, I need to pull out the calculator before you know what. If they want to be in a relationship. You guys will know already. I mean, you guys be going way too far, right? All you got to do is just look the person up and down, look at their phone, look at the kind of car they drive, look at their clothes, ask about where they work, and then once you hear payments, you got a decision to make right there. Once you hear car payments, you got to say to yourself, am I going to continue to mess with this person? Because relationship is already out the window. If they're making car payments, forget about a relationship. Forget it. Okay, that's done. If their phone is financed, if they got the newest iPhone, and you don't even have to ask, is the phone financed? All you got to do is this: how much was that phone? If they take a guess, they financed it, because if you pay cash for it, you know exactly how much it costs. So, but if they go, oh, I think it was this, don't even ask the question no more. Now you got a decision to make. Am I going to date a person with that finances a phone? You know it's not going to go anywhere. And if you say, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to keep it sexual. Let me just keep it sexual. Now you got to say, do I really trust this thin piece of rubber for the next 20? Because that's what you're doing. You're trusting the manufacturer of a condom, by the way, who doesn't guarantee 100% that you will be protected from getting a person pregnant. They tell you that on the box. Okay. Now, are you going to risk the next 20 years of your life and money trapped in the debt matrix for this sexual encounter? Because you know that's a possibility. Before you have sex with the person, you already know they're a debt slave. You already know. This goes for a man or woman. You're going to biologically, and if you accidentally procreate with a debt slave, you are sentencing yourself to 20 years in the debt matrix. Minimum, because that's a person, a human. What's up, Alonzo? What's up, Andre? Yeah, I went at age 26, because I specifically remember feeling like I had to do something, but I took a different look. This is what I did. Back then, Windows 95 came out, right? And I lived in Seattle. That's where headquarters of Microsoft is at, right? And back then, I didn't really know nothing about computers. But when Windows 95 came out, I remember Microsoft making it a very, very big deal right? They brought in rock stars. They had this big old thing on their campus, and for the introduction of Windows 95. Now, when you don't know anything about computers back then, I thought to myself, what is the big deal? That obviously that's a big deal. So at that moment, I said, okay, I'm gonna learn about computers. So I decided to go to school for computers. So I went to a technical college first, got my associates or whatever you get at the first, so I can get a basic job so I could really understand. And then when I knew I had to further my career, I knew I had to get a bachelor's. So then I went back to, I started making good money, and then I went back and got a bachelor's. And I said to myself, are here to stay. They're not going anywhere. So I made sure to choose a career that was not going to change by anything, because I knew computers was here to stay. So I said it's a good idea for me to learn that. So then I got into virtualization and all that kind of networking, and then I just expanded on that. And I had a wonderful career. It was beautiful, beautiful career. What's up? Luminal says, had I known better, I'd have started working right after high school too, instead of going into debt for a degree that I'm not using. And a lot of people have done that. They went to school. They have imagine having a lot of student loan debt from a degree that you're not even using. That makes debt slaves not want to pay it even more. They're just like, oh man, they ripped me off and this and that. You guys got to stop thinking like it. Doesn't matter how you feel about the student loan debt. If you don't pay the student loan debt off, you might as well stop listening to me. I mean, you can, but you will never be able to understand that capitalism is psychological, because the first requirement to know that, you have to own yourself. You have to own yourself. Got to lock them in. I know what you're talking about. See, we got people that know that are mean to debt slaves. They're mean to them. See, Andre, there's no need to kick a debt slave while they're down. That's not necessary. See now, once you come to the positive side, now we're broken up in categories. We're in different categories up here. So some people here just don't have time for you debt slaves. They'll talk about you to your face if you bother them. They just don't want to talk to you. They say bad things, but they avoid you, okay? Because they don't want that stuff to come out and hurt your feelings. Nothing's stopping that. Nothing's stopping that. That's here. The only thing left is to get rid of paper money. Listen, debt slaves, when they get rid of paper money, oh. Now I think about it, as I'm saying it out loud, put it this way. As I'm saying it out loud, right now, a lot of you guys have gone from W-2, all you delivery people, right? You guys and all these delivery jobs, that you guys have gone from W-2 to 1099, and like 95, if not higher, you guys are not paying your taxes. You're not. Now, that is a big tax hole that's got to be plugged. It has to be, because that's the new way of the world. 1099. You guys got it. That's just is okay. But you guys are not paying your taxes. I know you're not. Haven't filed your taxes and spending all the money. Now, yeah, they hired 87,000 new IRS agents, but that's not enough to catch all you guys. That's not enough. Okay. Too many of you guys will slip through the cracks because there's not enough manpower to do that. Okay. But if they get rid of paper money, and make it all digital, central bank digital currency, now sort of like tips. Like look at you guys right now, but I want you guys to look at the way tips used to be. Okay. Tips were usually given in cash. That's very hard to keep track of that. Who got what? How much did they really get? But if they make tips all electronic, like, have you guys noticed when you go out to eat or whatever, all tips are electronic. Why do you think that is? To keep track of it now. That tip problem has now been solved. The tip problem has now been solved. Why? Because they got rid of money. Okay, look at it. See, tips are no longer cash. That doesn't exist. Now you just put it on the electronic thing. So now they know exactly how much in tips a person gets. Hey, we know you got this much, so we're going to charge you this much tax. Wait till they get rid of paper money. You guys are toast. My only saving grace is that I finally paid off the education. Now I need to find my true calling. Well, that's the only way you can start finding your true calling. You must first own yourself. Once you own yourself, your mind opens up. Shout out to Miss B for the $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Miss. Hello, SMD family. I hope all is going well with everyone. I'm out of town. Just wanted to stop in to say hello. Well, hello. Hello. She's been kind of quiet. Usually she comment on every video when she get hyped up. But I said, okay, she must be busy doing something. I love the balance of the title, LG. Yes, the balance. Flawless victory for sure. Man, it's beautiful. I ain't gonna lie, Andre, man. This is beautiful. It's beautiful. Not paying taxes is a sure sign. Yep. I know you guys are nervous. You guys doing all of these deliveries, collecting all this bread, and you haven't filed taxes. Some of you guys have not filed taxes in so long, now you're too scared to do it. Every time you go to the mailbox, you're just terrified to see a letter with stamped IRS on top of it. Aren't you tired of living like that? Aren't you tired of living like that? Shout out to Tinfoil Hat for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Aren't you guys tired? Aren't you tired of that? Just terrified of going to the mailbox? You guys would think Freddy Krueger lives in your mailbox. Oh my God. You don't have to, when you come to the positive side, you know what's in your mailbox? Junk mail. That's the only thing that irritates me about my mailbox now is junk mail. You know what I do with all junk mail? They got this mailbox where the mailman picks up the mail. I take my junk mail and put it in the mailbox where the guy's gonna pick it up. I don't want it. Put it in the return box. Maybe it'll be enough for them to stop sending it. I don't know, but it's gonna go right in there. Automated taxes, you better believe that. Hey Andre, that is crystal clear. Those of you guys don't know, I just want you guys to take the example of taxes. I'm just giving you guys a clear example about what is about to happen to you. Now, if you want to get ahead on this, okay, listen. Now, because I don't want to leave you guys stranded, like you're just stuck, you're going to get in trouble, this was going to happen. This is what you need to do. Go find a tax professional in your state who is personally debt-free. Go to them and you tell them what you did, okay? And this is for two reasons. This tax professional who is personally debt-free will know something different than all the other tax professionals in his area. He or she will know something different, okay? You come to him and you say, hey, look, I've been doing this job for the last 5 years. I haven't paid shit in taxes. I haven't been filing taxes. I haven't been doing nothing. Don't lie about anything. You give them all your information. You give them all your check stubs and whatever stuff you need to do, you need to give it to them all. Reason why. When this tax professional files with the IRS, they're going to do it perfectly. The IRS will notice that this filing was done professionally. They will clearly see that. Doing it professionally pretty much tells them that you're taking this serious now because you hired a professional to fix your taxes. Now, they're still probably going to penalize you for something. I'm not saying you're going to get out of it and they're not going to do anything. I'm just telling you something. If you say filing it professionally and not yourself, tells them that you're taking it seriously, that you obviously want to get this straight. Obviously. That's crystal clear because you took it serious. And then you'll get yourself out of it. Then they'll penalize you or do whatever they need to do. Now, because you also save them resources. Now they don't have to waste resources coming after you. Because debt slaves always like to they always like to ignore the letter that the IRS sends you first. They always just like to ignore it. Oh, I'm gonna pretend I didn't get it. Now they have to waste resources, somebody to pick up the phone or drive out or whatever. Now you're just making it, you're just prolonging the problem. But if you go to them professionally, you're saving money on resources to come get you. Is now that when you file it, they don't have to send it back and say, hey, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you should have checked that box, you should have did this and that. The tax professional will handle all that for you. Hey, this is what you're going to have to pay. They're going to spank you on the hand. Don't do that shit again. Now, and then you just go on and never do it again. And then you're free. That's what you do. Lonzo says, that was the whole draw about Bitcoin and people ran to the burning house like moths to a flame. Yes. Young people that are into Bitcoin, hey, listen, this is whenever they mention Bitcoin, that word is in the financial world. If that word is in the financial world, that means it's positive or negative. So if you hear a person mention Bitcoin, first you understand Bitcoin is positive or negative. And then you look, that positivity or negativity is determined by the person using the word Bitcoin. So if the person is making car payments, that the person using Bitcoin is making car payments, he's talking about the negative side of Bitcoin, because you cannot buy Bitcoin while having car payments. You can't do that. The reason why they break up Bitcoin into Bitcoin crumbs, because if they didn't, debt slaves couldn't play. If they said, hey, the only way you can buy Bitcoin, you got to buy a whole Bitcoin, how many debt slaves you think can buy a Bitcoin? So they break it up into what I call Bitcoin crumbs, so debt slaves can play. But if you hear them say, use the word Bitcoin, you say, you got a mortgage? Yeah, you can't buy Bitcoin while having a mortgage. Who told you that? The value of the country's currency is directly related to the country's ability to collect taxes. It sure is. That's why I said in the community area, Andre. I said, you know why the U.S. You know why the USA is is the best country in the world? Because we said so. That's why. You know why? You know why the U.S. currency is the number one recognized currency in the world? You know why? Because we said so. That's why. When you're on the positive side of the economy, I get it. I understand that. I get it. Totally get it. Understood. Understood. It was every day I'm learning something new and amazing. Me too. It's never going to stop. I don't think the learning's ever going to stop. I don't think it's ever going to stop. I'll be getting myself a debt-free tax attorney. Believe so. And make sure you, when you find one, business planner, debt-free business planner, strategic business planner, as long as they're personally debt-free, put it this way, anybody that you have to share your financial information with, they better, and you're paying for this information, they better be personally debt-free. You better be. That's a requirement. If they don't listen, if they don't understand, what does that mean? How dare you? You just get up and leave. It's nothing personal. Obviously, you don't know. You're getting emotional. If you ask a finance professional, are you personally debt free? Can I see your personal credit report? If they get all emotional and get upset, you leave, because why are they getting emotional during business? That's the wrong person. That's the wrong person. Man, it sure is. For sure. For sure. That is true. Lonzo says, I know a guy who owns a brokerage. He is 54 years old and asked if he could put 20,000 into a life insurance policy and use it like equity. They always talk about putting money in a policy and use the money. They always do that. Huh. I asked him, how long would it take for the same investment in RE? Okay. Oh, real estate. Okay, got it. Okay. He said it takes at least 5 years to get the equity. Same applies to life insurance, except the equity is actually there, as the cash value in your policy doesn't need to be loaned to you like a HELOC. Huh. I always say to I always just say to people, and I don't really understand how life insurance policies work, and I want to make sure everybody understands. I don't really. I'm just saying. I'm just here to understand to help you understand. If you got car payments, don't worry about a life insurance policy because they're not unless life insurance policies are free. You can't buy one because you have a car payment. So don't worry about a life insurance policy. But now, if you're debt free, that's a different story. That's a different story because you're going to clearly use the life insurance policies different than the person who's in debt. That's a fact for sure. My nephew, no debt. My nephew, no debt, great job, is about to marry his girl with $110,000 in student loan debt and $30,000 in credit card debt. She has no intent to pay it off. Tried to warn him, but he's stubborn. What do you think? You know what you have to say? Congratulations. That is the colorblind slave master. It doesn't care about your gender, your race, your age, nothing. You can't. That's the hardest part about being debt free. And I want people that are trying to come over here or need assistance. I want you to understand something. When you own yourself and you come to the positive side of the economy, your family members will be on the negative side, and you have to watch them. You can't do anything about it. You can't say anything. If you still want to be in their lives, you got to let them be. They don't know what they're doing, and you can't do nothing about it unless they want it. You got to watch your nephew and say, "I'll be there at your wedding," or just say, "I won't be," or whatever, right? But you can't say anything. Hey, man, your girl, he can't hear you. Now, if he knew what it meant to be debt free and know what it meant and he actually could feel it, there is no way he would marry a woman with $110,000 in student loan debt that with no plans on paying it off. That would never happen. I will get my attorney, get my tax this year done soon, and find two more jobs, trades, while having online business running. Yep. See how you once you become debt free and you own yourself, your mind kicks into. I know it's neuroplasticity. Your mind starts making different connections because you have a different perspective. The same world, different perspective, and the perspective is a mathematical perspective, which makes it the only perspective. Every single debt slave has a different perspective of the economy. Some know what type. Do you know there's debt slaves that don't even know the type of economy we're in? Those are those kind of debt slaves are really gone. You won't even be able to help them if you ask a. And this might be even you. If somebody asks you, "Hey, what type of economy is the U.S.?" and you don't know, that means you're really gone, and you don't care, and you probably most likely you will die a debt slave, never knowing. No direct recognition, participation, whole life with a mutual company properly designed should be a person's first asset, hopefully as a child. See, yep. That's why it's passed down through generations. Once you understand this, put it this way: once you understand how the capitalism is psychological, then you'll move on to the true purpose of life insurance policies, right? Once you understand the true purpose of them, you raise your child to understand that capitalism is psychological. When you pass and they get that insurance policies, they know exactly what to do with it. They know exactly what they're going to do because that was already talked about their entire life, what they're going to do with the money. And then when you tell them, hey, by the way, when you was a young child, I had an insurance policy on you too. So what I did with my insurance policy, you do that the same with your children. You guys never have to work again, ever. If you create a successful business, people are increasing their mortgage, putting into crypto. They sure are. That's what debt slaves are supposed to do. Refinance their house and put it into an imaginary currency that doesn't exist. That's exactly what they're supposed to do. Dreams of getting rich. Dreams of getting rich. He sure is about to. That's what's so crazy, Nick. You're right. Your nephew's about to tie himself to the debt matrix. And when he gets her pregnant, oh shit. Trapped. Now once he gets married, if he wakes up while he's in it, first he has to ask the judge for permission. Judge, can I have a divorce, please? Judge says, okay, yeah, but we're going to take all your stuff and split it and this and that and da da da, blah, giddy blah, because you signed up for it. But believe it or not, it's worth it. To get free, it's worth it. 3 programs I found that is implemented to the majority are debt, food, and frequency. I just can't find the other 10. Debt, food, and frequency. Yeah. I think, when I notice when I'm not looking, it comes to me. You see what I'm saying? There's different levels. See, there's some mean people on the positive side. There's some mean people on the positive side, and then there's people that are not so mean. Okay, but see, this he won't talk to you in public. Okay, he won't talk to you in public. You can't take it personally. You can only expose him to the truth, not personal, just business. I'm working hard to free myself. Talking about doing it and actually doing it is the difference. Yep, I have had your videos that I jumped on and shared my plans as my motivation. That you are so well. I'm excited for. I can't wait to pay your house off. I'm gonna be excited. I'm gonna be excited for you. Just think, when you pay your house off, no more rent or mortgage for the rest of your life. While millions of people believe, now it's just a belief, rent and or mortgage is normal. That's just it, a way of life, when it's not. And you'll be sitting back realizing they're gonna be thinking they're homeowners just like you. Oh, I'm a homeowner too. You own your house? Oh yeah, I own my house too. No, I own mine. I don't have no mortgage, no bank participation. No, he might pay her debt and then she might divorce. And that's the unfortunate thing is with the nephew. You got to understand this. If she has no plans on paying off the debt, and he gets in there and he pays it off, she's going to think there's more room for financing because she didn't have to feel. And that's the important part that you guys got to understand. If you're deep in debt, part of the process is to pay off your debt. You have to feel what you spent. Paying your debt off. Hold on. Paying your debt off, you have to feel that pain. Excuse me. You have to feel that pain of paying off what you spent. That's part of the process. Because as you pay it off, when I was paying my debt off, I become the middleman. Get my check, give it to the bank. Get my check, give it to the bank. Get my check, give it to the student loan place. To get my check, give it to the student loan place. I was a middleman, just working, hand my check to them. You know how painful that is? That's very painful. But I kept in mind, one day it's going to stop. One day I'm going to get paid and I'm not going to have a business to hand my check to. And one day that came. No business to hand my check to. You have no idea what that feels like. Like when that first happened to me, it felt like I forgot to pay something. Because all my life I had monthly payments and many monthly payments, keeping track of all these monthly payments, till one day I had none. So I got that next check. I thought I forgot to pay something. I thought, oh my God, what I forget to pay? Something's going to be late and this and that. Because you're frantic of keeping your credit score good, right? So you got to make sure all your payments in on time. You're not late and this and that and blah, blah, blah. To one day that's irrelevant because you have no payments to do. It's something I had to get used to. Then I had to learn to not be afraid of my mailbox, afraid of what's going to be in it when I open it. All that's gone. I just open it up and look what's in it. It's going to be something I ordered, or junk mail, or the power bill, or the cable bill. But other than that, nothing. True, LJ. When I'm alone, it comes to me. It does. When it always comes to you in silence. It really does. Guys don't realize, even with a prenup, it won't save you. This is what. Let me give you guys a view of the positive side of the economy on prenups. Okay, if you are thinking about marrying somebody and you're thinking about getting a prenup, that means you already know something already. That means I'm not going to marry that person because I'm already looking towards the other side of it. I'm getting married to. There's a reason why I'm getting married, because I want to be married. If I'm thinking prenup, obviously that's not the right woman for me. And I need to tell you guys this too, so you guys can understand. Once you own yourself, you won't have to worry about prenups, divorce court, child support, because you won't get involved with a debt slave. Now, am I saying 100%? No, but I'm saying like 98%. The probability of you ending up in child support court or divorce court are slim to none. You know how many dates you're going to go on. Let me just help you, so you can first. That's why you got to first be comfortable being alone, because you know how many dates you're going to go on, and the majority, 98% of your dates are going to be in debt. This is the age, like the late 20s, early 30s. This is the dating age. You guys are out there trying to impress people with cars and houses and jewelry and all this other shit. All the shit is financed, all of it. So when you go out on a date and you see somebody with a nice car, you're not going to automatically think they're rich. You're going to find out they're making car payments. Once you find out they're making car payments, now you have a decision to make. Should I continue this date, or just is it going to be a total waste of time? If they're making car payments, it's not going anywhere. The relationship's going nowhere. The pain is the true answer for sure. Nick, my brother's first wife, he paid her student loans off and credit card debt, and she divorced him. And 2 months later, she used him. Luckily, he woke up and married a debt-free chick later. Well, see, again, right now, like your nephew, right? When you own yourself and you come to the positive side, you automatically know that the future doesn't exist, okay? Only the present moment and the obvious. So right now, your brother knows before marrying her that she has no plans on paying off her debt. That's not even in her scope of things. So if she has no plans on paying off debt, that means she's looking to accumulate more debt. Now, if he decided to pay off all of her debt and all this other stuff, and then she decides to divorce him right after he pays off all her debt, he already knew that before he married her. He already knew that was a possibility because she didn't even want to pay off her own debt. With this knowledge in your late 20s, 30s, if I come across a woman on a date and she has student loan debt with no plans on paying off, I'm just going to finish out the date. Dinner, hey, it was good. Hey, we're going to see each other? No, why not? You have student loan debt, so it's no point in it's no point in seeing each other again. At least romantically, we can be friends. Oh, you talking about friends with benefits? No, I'm just talking about straight friends. Nothing outside of that, because I don't want no accidents. Oh, we can use protection. No, I don't trust condoms for the next 20 years of my life. No, thank you. Maybe that's paranoid, but that's me. I wouldn't be able to concentrate. When you own yourself, imagine this. You're a man and you own yourself. You know you're about to have protected sex with a debt slave. How can you concentrate? What if you're gonna be thinking about the condom slips off? What if it got a hole in it? Oh man, I'm gonna be trapped with this woman for the next 20 years. If she gets pregnant, she already told me she wants babies. This is the age where they want kids. And how are you gonna enjoy it? Me personally, I wouldn't be able to enjoy it. I couldn't. I'd be too worried. It doesn't matter if a debt slave doesn't know what it feels like to be free. That's irrelevant. Alonzo says, my favorite words, LJ, words from LJ is a good credit score just means you pay them on time. It doesn't mean you're not a debt slave. Exactly. It doesn't mean you're not a debt slave. You just pay back the money on time. Now, when you come to the positive side, you create a business where the debt slaves borrow money from you and they pay you back your money on time. Then you, hey, great, cool, awesome credit score. That's what. There's nothing wrong with people, debt slaves, believing in credit scores. You just come to the positive side, create a business, and then you make money on them paying you. And then when they pay you, you report to the credit agency that, hey, this debt slave paid me back the money on time, and give them a credit score. Exactly, LJ. They wouldn't let a winning racehorse sleep with a no. I know it sounds harsh what I'm saying, that I wouldn't sleep with a debt slave, but if you've never been debt free, you don't know what that means to own yourself. You have to get to zero to own yourself. And that takes hard work. That takes a lot of sacrifice. That takes a lot of pain. That takes a lot of not going on vacation, going to the restaurant you want to eat for a few years, for the rest of your life. It's worth it. I don't care if it took 5 years. It's worth for the rest of my life. LJ, if you had this knowledge at birth, would you have been like Reginald F. Lewis? I gotta look who that up. I don't know who that is. This is how I look at that, Gabriel, and I've thought about that, right? All of my experiences led me to the mic today, right? Talking to you. Because I know for a fact, if somebody said, like, if God came down and said, hey, I'll give you a redo if you want to redo, here, I'll let you redo with the knowledge you have today. But a redo would mean everything is erased. My kids, all of my experiences, everything that had led me up to this point today in my life, that would all go away. And I wouldn't want that. You know what I'm saying? I believe I was given this gift at this age because I had to be mature enough to handle it. This is a gift. I mean, who knows what I would have done it when I was young? Maybe I would have used it immorally. I wouldn't have used it illegally, but I probably would have used it immorally to get what I want. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that nothing was going to come of something or whatever, What's up, Dorian? I would pay you a script just on what questions to ask on a day. You know what? That's a good idea. I mean, if you are a young person and you are really wanting to understand what it means to own yourself, and you really are you're out here confused in the date world, all these dating apps and going on dates, and what you think a woman, I'm gonna just give you from a man's point of view, right? What's she supposed to look like? What kind of qualities you're looking for? Is it in this country or that country? None of that. Did you guys know none of that matters? Is she a debt slave or not? Is the only thing you should care about. Is she making car payments? Yeah. Then don't worry about you don't need to know anything else about her. If she got car payments, is she have a finance phone? Yeah. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's not going, that relationship's going nowhere. They would think, if I was young, women would think I'm a complete asshole because, oh, you won't date a girl because she has a finance phone? Yes. I keep saying that. No, I won't date a woman who has a finance phone, who makes car payments. And then they'll get mad. I'll be like, I'm not the only guy in the world. Why are you mad at me? There's plenty of guys out there that will date you, have sex with you, get you pregnant, and do all that kind of stuff. I don't care. Just not me. I have relatives who think I'm broke because I don't own a car, yet they're making more than $700 a month payments on their car. You know what? You just got to look at your family, your relatives, and be like, hey, they're just part of the debt matrix. I can't do anything about it. You can't say anything. You got to be quiet. Average new car payment is $700 a month plus insurance. And that's, you guys got to understand, that's not even including interest rates. See, this was debt slaves. They'll look at the car payment and say, oh, the average car payment is $700. For who are you talking about? Debt slaves finance taxes. They got gap insurance. They got high interest rates. You guys don't even realize how much you guys really pay. Soon as you listen, debt slaves, as soon as you finance a car, you are instantly upside down. Instantly. which makes you guys, everybody that finances cars are upside down in the car. You guys are automatically upside down, automatically. Now you guys look in the blue book value. Listen, this is what you guys do to determine. This is what you guys do to determine if you're upside down in the car. You go on Kelly Blue Book. Hey, what's the Blue Book value on my car with leather seats and this and that? You guys will do all that shit, checking off the boxes. Well, my car has this and that. And all you got to do is log into the bank that you have your car financed with. Look at your car loan balance. That's your Blue Book value of your car right there. Your bank already knows all the options and everything on your car, and they even have the balance. That's your Blue Book value. Kelly Blue Book online services, those are for people who pay cash for cars, not you. Like when you go to look up a value on a house and you say, oh, let me go see my house, the value of my house. That's not for you if you have a mortgage. If you have a mortgage, you don't go to that website. You log into your bank account and see what your mortgage balance is. That's your value of the house. You guys be going to different websites when you could just log into your bank account and check the Blue Book value of your car and the value of the house that you live in. LJ He, the first black billionaire. Okay. The one that was first reported. Right. Let me tell you guys something. When you understand capitalism is psychological and there's a positive and negative side, and now when I look back at history, I look at history different. Okay, history is a different kind of history for some reason, right? And I'm like, how long was the Roman Empire here? 1,000 years. Okay, how old is the United States? Oh, a little over 200. Interesting. Okay, all right. That's weird. Okay, I just look at things differently now. History is just, he's the first black billionaire. Oh, who said that? Where's that wrote? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you're saying it wrong, but I'm just okay. Say like you found a piece of, say like you found some land and you decided to create a compound on it, right? And you are vegan, and your compound only allows anything related to vegan stuff, vegan food, vegan this and that. Would you allow somebody that is that eats meat? Would you allow him to come onto your compound and sell books on how to prepare meat and set up a stand on how to cook meat? Would you allow that on your compound? You probably wouldn't. Okay, you probably wouldn't. So I put it this way: I know where I live. I was born here. These rules and economy was already here in place. They're here for a reason. Okay. What most of us don't do is to take the time to like when I was younger, nobody told me to take the time to understand that, right? Because nobody really understands that, because the majority of debt slaves believe they own things with no money. So that's a whole different, obviously that's a psychological thing. They believe something that's not mathematically true. That math clearly says that's psychological, right? Nobody was when you think about it, it's really even hard to put in words. It's really hard to put in words. Church, yeah, it's when people look at like what's that one Tom Cruise is supposedly part of the Church of something. I forgot what it's called. Anyway, people make it. It's weird how people act when they don't understand something. If they don't understand what you're doing, I guess it's bad. You know what I'm saying? Scientology, right? I don't know anything about that to even comment on what they do, how they do it. I don't know enough about it to say anything about it. All I know is this: This is how I look at Scientology. They got buildings everywhere. They got buildings in prime real estate areas in damn near every state. Who's the other people that have buildings like that? Banks, the central bank. They all have big buildings in prime locations, prime real estate in each, damn near almost all states. So obviously they're doing something right. They're doing something. I don't know what it is. Do I know what it is? No, I'd never take the time to research to do it. Are they hurting people? Are they killing people? I don't know. If they're not, I don't really care. If what they're doing is not really harming other human beings, what would be my deal to even talk about it? You know what I'm saying? What's up, Nyson? Would you say Law School Lewis is a true role model? I never heard of who that is. I don't really. Once you put it this way, when you own yourself, let me put this mic down over here. When you own yourself, your perspective change. Your perspective of the world change. Everybody's still there, but when you truly understand that debt slaves, the opinions of debt slaves, especially when it comes to finances, relationships, their opinions are irrelevant because they don't own themselves. So their opinions about relationships and investing and retirement plans, it's irrelevant. They don't own themselves. Who cares what they think? When you really understand this, your self-esteem goes through the roof because there's not many people that understand what you know. You will walk around knowing that you own yourself. You will know that, and know millions of people don't. You'll still be able to listen. You'll still be able to enjoy the things with other debt slaves, vacations and, car shows and, just enjoying life. But the majority of those people are owning them. They don't own themselves. They're making payments. So like you go take a week cruise, you pay for the cruise in cash. Debt slaves finance it. They'll go on a 1-week cruise and make payments on it for the next 2 years from a credit card. Imagine the profit that credit card companies, the banks make from a person that spends money for 1 week and pays back for 2 years. That's incredible profit. You come on the positive side, you partner up with the banks. Hey, what can I do to help you? Because it all benefits us. It is a different plane of existence. No one gets an automatic pass because the image of success isn't enough. It's not. Do you know successful people that understand capitalism is psychological? Do you know they can see right through all the phonies and fakes? Like if you put me in front of like a rich movie star or a rich person, period, right? And you let them hear me speak, they will know that I'm not like you. Immediately, they will know. I was always wondering why, like, you know, if a star came to town or a famous person, I was always wondering why am I not all happy and want to take pictures with them like everybody else? Because I am them. Instead of doing all that, I'll just make myself that. If I want that, I'll be that. But at the same time, like when you're young, you think you want that. You think you want to be famous and everybody's taking pictures of you. And when you're not famous and you watch it, You're like, oh my God, look at the Carter stepping out. Look at all that jewelry. Everybody's taking pictures. The paparazzi won't leave them alone and this and that. You think you want that until you get it. And guess what? They can't go to the park by themselves and sit on a park bench and feed the ducks alone without being bothered. They can't go into Walmart like you and just pick out a couple things for dinner without people bothering them. They can't do that anymore. You can. They can't. What if one day you woke up and you just had a headache, you were sick, and you didn't want to feel like getting, you didn't feel like getting dressed, you didn't feel like talking to nobody, you got to get up and go to this store, your nose is stuffed up, eyes watered. Hey, that's so and so. Can I take a picture? You got to be nice. You can do that when you're not that. So you got to be careful what you wish for. Now, the wonderful thing about what I do, yes, it'll one day be all over the world, entire world, but debt slaves still won't see me. Debt slaves can't see me. They can't hear me. They don't know anything. And it'll be like that always because they don't know what I do. It's a psychological thing. Right now, for example, I'm starting to reach more and more people in the UK that understand it doesn't matter if you live in the UK, it's the same thing. The only difference between the UK and the US, we use green paper here. They use the different color paper there. That's it. The symbol's different. We got the money sign. They got that U sign thing. I don't I don't know what it's called. That's what it looks like to me, I guess. They have to be vetted. Yes. You have to earn this, man. You have to earn to get to zero. You have to earn to own yourself. That right there, you going through it, earning, doing what it takes to own yourself, that right there shoots your self-esteem through the roof because you have just done something that millions of people don't even know exists. Zero means you're free. Zero doesn't mean you're broke. Zero means you're free. Debt slaves are so far under zero in the negative, which they taught us all this in elementary school. They taught us all this. Zeros in the middle, green on the right is positive, red on the left is negative. They taught us all this in grade school. Debt slaves are so far in the negative, they wouldn't even have, you know how small the number chart would have to be for them to actually put it on a piece of paper? You know how small that would have to be? If they put -1, -2, -2 to go all the way down to where they're at in debt. If they put in their house and their cars and their student loan debt and their multiple credit cards and their multiple rental furniture, and you know how far in the negative that they would be? That would be a long piece of paper. They got to go from all the way there to zero. How many debt slaves you think got the balls to do that shit? Not many. They'll be quick to say, "Oh, that's stupid. What are you talking about? Yeah, you can profit. You can cash flow off of mortgage rental properties. Whatever, debt slave. Hey, whatever." You just walk away. You let them say whatever they're going to say. Most definitely. That definitely, that definitely, I'm not going to say 100% cure. I'm because definitely don't want to, I don't want to say that because I'm not some kind of medical doctor. I'm going to just tell you something. Debt causes stress. When you have no debt, guess what? That stress is gone. People outside of yourself cause stress. Eliminate them. If they're family, you keep them at a distance. As long as they know they're no longer going to be allowed to stress you out. They can't. I don't let people do that. I remember I had a friend that was a last minute friend. I always like to, if we had to be somewhere at 3 o'clock, he wanted to leave the house at like 2:50. Oh man, we got time. And then every time we're late, and I hate being late. to where I started saying, hey, man, I'll meet you there. Oh, man, we can save some gas and ride together. No, I'll meet you there. Let him show up late by himself. Those are the when you own yourself, which say yes, if you accept the truth, you no longer have an emotional response to things. You sure don't. You know how hard that is? Accepting of the truth. You know how it's weird. You know how hard it was for me to accept that capitalism is psychological? That was tough. I went through so many different phases. Oh, I can see negative numbers. Oh, it's it's the savings minus debt. I mean, you go through phases to lead to the answer. Then once I finally, wait a minute, the whole thing is psychological. Yeah, capitalism not physical. I wish somebody would have said, "Hey, Linnell, yeah, what is capital? How is it shaped? What color is capitalism? What is it? Is it round? Is it square? Is it a peg? Is it a cylinder? No, it's psychological, Linnell. Capitalism is not a physical thing, you dummy." I probably would have got mad at that point. I mean, no. Oh, God, it's just so stupid now. It's so dumb. I knew, man. I remember when I used to go finance a car. I would be at that motherfucker all day, and that's with good credit. Be there for hours, hours. They probably had the cameras pointing at me, laughing in the background. Look at this idiot. He's here all day for that stupid car to go into debt for a finance car, and you're gonna be there all day laughing at me. Hey, man, I'm working for you. I'm going back here to talk to this guy, man. I'm gonna get him down. How much you want? $550. Okay, I'll try to get it down. Nah, man. He said he only could do like 6. Oh my God. Oh fuck. Oh, that's so embarrassing. I knew I should have known. I remember one time my wife at the time, before she got home that day we were supposed to go to the beach, okay? Before she got home, she stopped at this car lot that I didn't know she stopped at. So when we packed up the truck, we was heading out to go to the beach, right? She said, "Hey, pull into this car lot, blah, blah. I want you to see this car." It's like, okay, let me take a look. It didn't hurt anything to come and drive through and look at it and keep going, right? As soon as I pulled into the car lot, the sales guys started coming out. "Hey, Mr. Young." I was like, "Mr. Young, how the fuck you know my name? How you know my name?" "Oh man, your wife came through. She was looking at this car and this and that, and she want to do this and that." I was like, "Hey, check this out." I was so mad. I looked at her. I was like, "What?" I said, "You know how long we're gonna be at a car lot to I want to go to the beach. It's a beautiful day, and sunny days are rare in Seattle, so I didn't want to miss it, right?" I told them, I said, they were trying to get me out of the car to come in. I said, "Let me tell you something, man." I said, "I didn't know she did this." And I said, "If I'm not in and out of here in 1 hour, I'm not signing nothing." You know, those guys got me in and out in an hour, 1 hour. They did it. That should have told me something right there. I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing something wrong. Yeah, that's probably true. I heard that. I mean, that's a rumor. I don't know for a fact, but I heard renter centers renting Jordans. If you rent the shoes, do you need renter's insurance in case they get scut? Exactly. I know how is that? You know they're gonna mess the Jordans up. You know that. Retro retro slaves. Yes, see what I'm saying? Yes, LJ, that was a glimpse. Sure was. It was a glimpse. I was like, wait a minute, I got in and out here in an hour? See, and I still didn't know. LJ, you're not supposed to be financing cars, idiot. If you had put it this way, so you guys can understand. If you walked in a car lot and you had cash, right, to buy the car, and the person inside the building said, "Hey, sit down here for 3 hours while we bring your car up," would you stay there and wait for the car if you had cash to buy the car? Absolutely not. You would be in and out of there in 30 minutes. If you can't get paperwork done in 30 minutes, I'm leaving. Especially if I have cash to buy the car, I'm getting in and out of there in 30 minutes, and I'm gonna tell the salesman I'm in and out of here in 30 minutes, or so I'm leaving, and I'm not signing shit. That's what I would say. I hope you young people are getting this. I really do. I really do. You know, your life could be totally different. You know, if you're 18 right now and you listen to this, do you know I can help you make your life totally different than millions of people around you? Do you know that? I can help you be whatever you want to. As long as you got to have the passion for it. First you must have the passion for something. If you're a young person right now and you have a passion for something and you just don't know how to acquire it, I can help you. If you don't know capitalism is psychological, I can help you with your passion. I can. Because if you already have to have the passion. Like, you listen to me do these videos, I got over 1,000 videos. You probably thinking to yourself, well, how is he making his money? How is he? I can only imagine what's going through your brain. It's coming. How do you know? Because of my passion. My passion right now. Passion drives me. Money second. Passion is first. And when I say money, like when I had a job, I made 160,000. If this business is not making over that, that's what I consider. It's not money until I'm making over what I made at a regular job. That's when it's money, because it's not a big deal if I already made it having a job. I was with a client. He bought a car, and they bought it. What did he say? I was with a client. He bought a car and they bought it to his home. Oh, they brought it to us. Oh, excuse me, brought it to his home. Never had to leave the office. Oh, okay, got it. That was one of my glimpses past through the veil, past the veil. Now, are you saying they brought it to him because that's how people with money buy cars? Or are you saying like Carvana? You know how the Carvana will bring a person's finance car to them, or are you saying in a way that that's how it works with people who pay cash for cars? Hey, LJ, I was working with I gotta get close to my laptop. LJ, I was working with this coworker for months, and then all of a sudden she went off on me randomly. I told her she doesn't have to work with me anymore. She looked at me like, "What'd you say?" Okay. I was working with a coworker for a few months, and then all of a sudden she went off on me randomly. I told her, I mean, why would she go off on you randomly? I don't get it. I told her she doesn't have to work with me anymore. Did you say something to her? She looked at me like she wants to cry. Okay, you got to give me some more detailed information. What's going on with that? Yes, this was 25 years ago. Okay, got it. Okay, got it. I want you guys, if you have a passion, nobody else has to understand what it is or why. Like when I first started this, right? When I first got out of debt, I was excited what I was discovering. So the first people I went to was my family, right? Hey family, look, I just discovered something. Look, you can do this and that and be free and this and that. They didn't want to hear it. Then I went to my friends. My friends thought I was trying to be better than them. I was like, what? And then so I had to start a channel. First, it started out as Debt Ain't My Daddy. It was funny. People liked it. Ha ha ha. But then you got the other people talking about daddy. That ain't my dad. I'm like, oh shit, that's not working. And then I went from That Ain't My Daddy to Savings Minus Debt. So where this title, you can't really have an opinion about it because it's a mathematical problem. It's a mathematical equation, right? Savings minus debt. What's so funny about that? You can't really have a feeling about it. You can't do anything. Now it's slowly moving, not moving from SMD. Once you get to zero and get to the other side, SixthCents, SixthCents. That will help you. And this is to help you. And this is because I wish I had this. I didn't have nobody to go to when I got to zero. I didn't know what questions to ask. I didn't know who to look for. I didn't, nothing. Here, you do have a place to go to. When you get to zero, you're going to have a lot of questions on what and how things work and this and that. You are going to have a place to come to get the answers that you're looking for, because you will not be able to ask any debt slave these types of questions because they don't know it exists. Like I always tell people, I said, with Dave Ramsey, right? In business, Dave Ramsey says, hey, pay off everything but the mortgage. When you get down to your mortgage, start putting away 15% into retirement. And then you can come to one of my Vesta Pros and whoever, and he'll teach you how. When you get to zero and you come to the 6th Sense side, you will understand that you cannot put away 15% into retirement while having a mortgage, because you have no money to do that. You don't have 15% of anything to put anywhere. You will understand that if you paying off your house is one of the best investments that you could ever make in your life. Why? Because you will never have rent or mortgage again for the rest of your life. Who else is doing that? Do you know anybody in your life that doesn't have rent or mortgage payments? Do you know anybody like that? There's not many. You can be one of them. You said the transaction was done with the courier signed the paperwork in front of me, pay cash. Oh, got it. Okay, I'm with you now. That's how it's done. Yeah, they don't even step on a lot. Don't even step on a lot. This is and this is what I want you guys to understand, okay? Especially the younger you are. When you come to the other side of zero, okay, the positive side, when you come to the positive side of the economy, your credit report is going to tell about you. So say like you've been working since 18, you've been saving all your money, staying at home with your parents, and you're about 27. You ignored the rule. Oh, you're still living at home with your mom and dad, all that stupid program bullshit, right? You saved your money because you want to buy a house when you move out from your parents. You find the house you want. You have 50,000, you have 50% of the house in cash. Whatever the house is, you have 50% in cash. So you're going to go to the bank with a mortgage. You go to the bank and ask for a mortgage. The first thing they're going to do is run your credit. Okay. They're going to immediately see that you have no credit because you have no debt. But you have $50,000 in cash. You have 50% of the house in cash, which people your age don't have at all. They're not going to turn you down for the mortgage because you don't have no credit, you don't have a good credit score. You're doing something because they know you own yourself. People your age don't come to them asking for mortgages with 50% of the house in cash and no debt. That doesn't happen. So they'll know that somebody's been talking to you, somebody told you something, because they don't run into that. Since you're young and 50% of the house is in cash, then you'll continue on working or whatever, pay the house off. Guess what? No more. Imagine you look up the average mortgage payment and then you say, that's what's going in my account every single month by not having a mortgage. You're not trapped in a city or state. When you're ready to move from the state you live in, guess what you do? You just sell your house, take that money and buy a new house where you're moving to. Easy. What's up, Dorian?
Hey, what's up? What's up, LJ? How you doing today?
I'm doing good, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good. Yeah, I just wanted to go and elaborate a little bit more on my story or whatnot. Yeah, I couldn't really give you like go in depth in the on YouTube comment section and whatnot because they only allow you to type but so much.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I was just going to tell you like, yeah. Sometimes you would forget that you. I mean, sometimes you do. You know that you own yourself or whatnot, but sometimes you tend to forget or whatnot, especially when you're working a job or whatnot. So I was just trying to let you know what that like one of my coworkers just recently I was working with her like for months on end. I'm talking about months. I never had no problems with her or nothing like that. But she had this personality type as if she always fell out with people or whatnot. Like she always had like she was always ready to go and pop off or whatnot. Like if she felt like somebody was trying to, say something a certain type of way to her or whatnot. But I was always like I'm able to go and work with anyway. I got that kind of personality where I could just work with anybody. So
Well, she sound like with the way you're describing it now, she sound like she's just an unhappy person,
yeah, this
right?
she's
And when you have positive energy now, it really conflicts with your good energy. It really does, right?
mm,
You could feel it, right?
I do. I
And
can
so
you
and so you
go ahead.
just gotta understand that she's probably just a miserable debt slave. You got to leave them alone. Just don't be around them.
Oh, and I'll tell you how many stories she told me about the debt and stuff like that. She was showing me these apps or whatnot, how you can go and auction off certain items and stuff like that you can put in that you can go ahead and like uh buy now and pay later or whatnot. I'm like,
Oh
oh my
man, yeah.
god.
Mm.
And then she was and it was like, man, this I mean, she's like a heavy cigarette smoker. She was like,
Oh boy.
oh yeah, this is how much I got in my bank account. I don't even ask how much money she had in my bank account. She just voluntarily just show
But she
me
be
bank account
voluntarily showing it to you. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like, oh yeah, this is my cigarette budget right here. I'm like, okay. Like, all right.
You know what you're going through? You know what you're going through? You're going through because you gotta remember you you gotta remember debt slaves have to work, okay? And you're in it with them, right?
Mm,
I mean, you're there for a different purpose, but you got to remember the majority of them are debt slaves. So you're going to have all that energy around you. So your mind is going to start thinking, okay, I need to do something to get out of this work environment.
right, right. It's just they speak that so much or whatnot. Oh, I just hate my head just going. Think about something up the head. It's like, man, you can't even get away from it. It's like, God, damn, man. It's like they just
Oh,
be
that
having
is
random
funny,
conversations
man.
all loud and stuff like that. Like you said it all loud. Like, oh my god.
Me and Audrey and I always say that loud. They say it in public. They
And
say
I
it
want to
in
go. I
public.
want to go ahead and tell you this and whatnot too, because I think somebody might have said this on a comment section or whatnot a few videos ago. They say they say, well, what if somebody lies and tells you that they not in debt or whatnot? Listen. More than likely, they're not going to go and lie because they're going to see as is it like, well, what's my reason for lying? Whatnot. Majority of us is in debt anyway. Whatnot. So
Right,
they're not gonna
right,
lie. So
right.
majority of the time, they're not going to go ahead and probably go and lie about that anyway because they don't think about it as a big
That
deal.
is correct. You're right about that. I love how you saw that. That's cool, man. I like the way you saw that. Okay, all right. I like that.
And it, like stuff like that, it just make me like when you just alone by yourself or whatnot sometimes, and you just got time to just think about that kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, they're not gonna go ahead and lie and whatnot. It's easy to get that kind of information out of them anyway.
No, because they don't know a credit report is an owner's ledger. They don't know that. They don't know that's how they keep track of the debt slaves, the credit reports. They don't know that. You can walk right up to them and say, "Hey, you know your credit report is an owner's ledger." They'll just look at you like you're crazy. What are you talking about? They'll be like, "What's wrong with this crazy dude?" I'll just walk away. See you later, debt slave.
Yeah, it's just so crazy. Now they got these commercials now too. Whatnot? They got I don't know if you've seen it, but they got the rapper the game now advertising the credit. It said credit
Oh my
card
god.
interest I forgot what it was called. It was like it was like something to do with the credit card interest or whatnot.
Oh my God.
Yeah, oh my god. I'm like,
Now listen, when you
oh,
on now on the being on the positive side of the economy now when you see a rapper telling you somebody about a credit card, you know who they're talking to. Who? Debt slaves.
oh my god. I
They ain't
said, I was
talking to
like, yeah,
me.
that's
I'd be like,
right.
why is a rapper doing a credit card commercial? I don't get it.
I have no
I'm
clue. I'm like,
like,
really? They
but
got the
from a
game
business
doing
perspective,
commercial. Oh,
the game. Congratulations to the game. Congratulations.
yeah, right, right. I ain't knocking the game for doing that.
Hell
Hey,
yeah.
I would do the same thing too if they wanted me to do commercial for debt slaves.
I remember when the General had Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg would come do a General commercial,
Mm.
insurance. Snoop Dogg's coming in on some hydraulics on a car. I'm like, who you think they talking to? Debt slaves. I'm not buying insurance because Snoop Dogg comes in on a lowrider, bouncing on up and down on hydraulics. Oh, you're talking to debt slaves. Okay, you ain't talking to me.
Mm-hmm. And I digested a little while back, not this past Super Bowl, but I think it was the last Super Bowl. And I was just thinking about like that stadium out there in Los Angeles and whatnot, and how
Uh-huh.
they had all the even this past Super Bowl, they just got all the big stars out like Snoop Dogg. They got Dr. Dre, Eminem.
Right.
I'm like, y'all know y'all paying for that, no? Yeah,
Right.
you know y'all paying for all of that. Y'all paying
All
for all
that.
these big
That's business.
stars,
It's business, man.
and
It's business.
they spare no expense either. Oh man, this is
No.
oh
They're killing the game, man. Like when you come on the positive side and you create a successful business, you like when you see like like for example, Super Bowl commercials, 30-second commercials, they say 30-second commercial costs $5 million, right? Or some
Mhm.
crazy number, right? Well, the debt slave will be like, oh my God, $5 million. Well, they're gonna get quadruple that back. That's why
Mhm.
they're spending $5 million, because they know how many debt slaves they're gonna reach through the Super Bowl.
Oh my
It's
god.
worth every penny. That's why they're doing it.
Oh my goodness. And then I seen a sign today, just earlier today. It was like, yeah, get up to $3,500 refund credit. Before
What's that? Say that again. Say that again.
yeah, I seen a sign earlier that said something about refunds. You get $3,500 refund credit or something like
For
that.
taxes or
Yeah,
what?
for taxes, I guess.
Oh,
For tax
yeah. When you
refunds, like
where was it, on the side of a 7-Eleven store?
no, it was just like on the side of the road or whatnot. Just
See
get
what I'm saying? That's debt
$3,500. I'm
slaves.
like, oh my
I'm
god.
not taking financial information from a sign on the side of the road. I'm not doing that.
I'm like, man.
Somebody saying, "Hey, get your big refund over here." You don't go there.
Mhm,
You don't go there.
mhm. Exactly. Yeah, but yeah, I wanted to go ahead and elaborate what I was talking about.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I
Yeah.
love to hear. I love to hear SMD family members that still have jobs. I love to hear you guys' experiences because I went through the same thing. I did. I went before
Oh
I
yeah.
quit.
Oh yeah, I ain't tell you the whole thing too. What she just no. The reason why she did go off is because we were like doing we were like setting up a certain type of way, and me, I was thinking that we were just doing it that way the whole way through, whatnot. I didn't think we was going to switch back up again or whatnot. I thought she was just going to have it this certain way. We was going to continue to do it this certain way. And lo and behold, she just went off on me or whatnot because I didn't do the way we did before we switched it up. So
And when you say go off on you, give me an example of what
man,
go off means.
she snapped like she went off like she wasn't like yelling, but she went off as if I was purposely trying to be an a-hole or whatnot, like I wasn't trying to help her out or
What
whatnot.
was she
But
saying? Cussing you? What was she
no,
doing?
she was like, "Oh yeah, she's basically like, if you don't want to work with me, you ain't got to go ahead and work with me or whatnot. You gonna just leave,
Oh,
yeah, you just gonna go ahead and leave me to do certain things or whatnot." I was
gotcha.
thinking like if you would have asked me to go ahead and do it, I would have helped you out. You know
And
what
the
I mean?
reason why I'm asking, because it counts on your work environment. Like I was a computer engineer, right? So that
Yeah.
type of stuff wouldn't happen like that in the office, talking like
Nah,
that,
we
right?
work inside of a building or whatnot. So
Right. You
yeah,
see what
it's
I'm
a
saying?
different.
So it counts on your work environment. And you got to remember, but it really doesn't matter because debt slaves were in the building. Hey, I just took out a second mortgage and bought a rental property. Now I'm cash flowing and I invested in, it's just they
And
don't know
then
what they're saying.
Yeah, and then the way she just snap out sometimes, it kind of remind me of a kid that don't get their own way to whatnot. Like whenever she just like whenever something just don't go her way or whatnot, she just quick to go and get mad and whatnot. I'm like, this stuff happens or whatnot. Like,
Sound like
man,
an unhappy debt slave to me.
yeah, I don't get it or whatnot. Oh, so I told her actually she said that. I was like, I didn't yell or nothing like that. I was
Right.
really calm about it, but I was kind of like, well, if you don't, I mean, you don't got to go and work with me either or whatnot. And then she just turned around and just walked away for a little bit. Then she walked out the home machine or whatnot. She looked like she was about to go and cry. Um,
God damn.
but that wasn't my intention to go ahead and do. I wasn't trying to hurt her feelings or
That's a
whatnot.
lot of thought, man. You at work.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
lot of brain energy. That's
Yes.
a little too much energy for
And then
me.
we
Nah.
finished out the shift. And think about this. We finished out the shift.
Okay.
But the next day, I'm not working with her no more. So she had to go and tell somebody about me or something like that, or
Oh
told
God.
them I didn't want to work with me no more. I mean, I'm fine with that. I don't have to. Don't matter to me. Like,
Yeah,
you don't want to work with me.
that's a little too much. I would be out of I'd be out of there. I'm not.
Oh, trust me, I'm definitely.
Oh, I'm sure your
Oh,
brain has already started on ways
oh my
how to
god.
change that.
Oh, trust and believe, LJ. This is not my last stop.
Man, especially with this knowledge, you can't settle no more. I want people to understand there's no more settling. Now you know there's no limits, so now you ain't gonna stop.
And I had to take that situation. It took that situation because when I first came out of debt or whatnot, yeah, it did help a lot. But it just took that situation and be like, I don't gotta go and work with certain people. I don't gotta go and take
Right,
certain stuff. Like when you got a debt or whatnot, you realize
right.
you got the options or whatnot.
You
Like
got
you really don't
options.
gotta take the stuff that you had to take before. Like,
Sure don't. You definitely don't. You definitely stop working for free. Working through lunch,
mm-mm,
working after hours, all that
nope,
stuff stops.
nope. I told him, hey, when I first got out of debt, I told him like I don't even want that overtime or whatnot. Y'all can go ahead and have it. Oh yeah,
Did they look at you funny?
yup. They was just like, oh, you must. Like, dang, you
You
must
must
be
be
doing
rich.
you must be getting a whole bunch of money. Like, they was like, oh my god. It's like, I'm like, I wanted to say so bad, like, no, it's because I'm not in debt. I wanted to say that so bad, but I'll be pulling down my mask, LJ.
I
I'm sorry.
told you guys, it's up to you. When you first get out of debt, you guys be quickly to pull your mask out. Hey, look, everybody! I just go. I'm like, oh, okay. I
Oh
told you
yeah.
guys not to do that, but you can't help yourself, huh? Go ahead.
Because if you want to go and have some friends and you want to go and have the family members still talk to you, you better not pull down your
You
mask.
sure
I
better not.
experienced it. I experienced it firsthand. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Listen to
Better keep.
LJ. I'm telling you right now. Listen to him.
You
Because
just
I
gotta listen and say, "Oh, wow, that's great, cool. Oh yeah, man, I got this property over here. Oh, cool. I'm cash flowing this. Wow. Okay, then you leave it alone."
because I want to go and ask you this, LJ, because I got a property in mind that I want to go ahead and, because when I go and buy a property, I'm going to pay for it cash.
Mhm.
When I do go ahead and get the property or whatnot, do you think it's best if like I tell them that I'm renting, or do I own with
Who?
a mortgage or something?
Who? Tell who?
Like outsiders, like, ooh, like how'd you like you got a new home or whatnot? Are you renting or what? Like,
I would tell people it counts. It all counts on who it is.
mm,
Okay. The average debt slave, I would just say I'm renting because as long as you say you're renting, they won't think you have money. They think broke people rent. So you just
mm,
say you're renting, they'll think you're broke. Right?
mm,
But they won't know that you're renting from yourself. They won't say, "Hey, who are you renting from?" They don't know that you own the house, right? So you'll
mm,
be renting from yourself.
right.
So say like you decided to get a mortgage, okay? Because I'm not against mortgage. I'm just saying there's different ways of doing it. So say like you got a mortgage and you started a business and you put the house under the business. Now I'm not giving advice. I'm just saying, thinking out loud in my head.
Right.
You put the house under the business name and you rent from yourself.
Hmm.
So any money that comes from the profits or whatever comes from this house after it goes right back into the house. No profits come to you at all, right? It goes
Hmm.
back into the house until it's paid off.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because if you pull any money out and bring it to yourself personally, they're gonna charge you tax at personal rate or whatever, right? But if you
Right.
don't, if you're debt free, you don't need to pull money from the house, so it all stays into the house.
Mm.
Pay that thing off real quick, and you just tell people you rent from. I'm a renter, and they're you're just throwing away money on rent. Actually, I'm. You can't say that, but actually, I'm not. I own the house. I own the business that owns the house.
But I'm telling you, if you go ahead and tell people whatnot, oh, I paid this house cash or whatnot, they be thinking I'm a drug dealer.
Oh, I wouldn't. Yeah, I would never tell. I would never tell a debt slave that I own a house outright. I say, oh, I have a mortgage. You got to play along. You got. Oh yeah, I got a mortgage. Yeah. Hey, I just refinanced my house, man, so I could pay off my car. Just the same old stupid shit they be talking about.
Mm-hmm. Because I told one of my coworkers, I'm like, oh, I finally paid off my car or whatnot. She's like, oh.
Ooh, you got money.
You should have seen her eyes or whatnot.
Yeah.
She was like, oh my goodness. It's an older lady too. When it wasn't even like a younger girl or whatnot. She already knew, like, oh, see, I feel like older people would not tend to know because she's like in a lot of debt or whatnot. But she knows, like, oh yeah, if he's younger, he's in his 30s and stuff like that. Ooh, he might be a good candidate or something like that.
Right.
Like,
well, I mean, the people don't understand your dating life changes too, because you're not going to date a debt slave. Period. It's not going to happen.
I'm not doing that. I'm sorry.
It don't even matter how fine she is. You don't care. You're not going to care.
Nope. And you changed the trajectory of how I perceive the dating.
Let me hear it, man, because I want people to understand what this means.
I'm trying to tell you right now whatnot. I will put a girl who's in 100,000, who's in debt period or whatnot, with the same girl who got AIDS or whatnot. I put AIDS up there with a high debt. With
what
debt.
You said?
I put debt up there with AIDS and STDs and stuff like that.
Oh my God! Damn, that's harsh. God.
Oh man.
Oh my God! See, I told you. I'm telling other man. There's some harsh SMD family members out there, but some of them take it serious, man. I'm glad you're being honest, though. I am glad you're being honest because I want people to understand how serious it is to date a debt.
You tell me you look good or whatnot. You got $100,000 is still loan debt. I'm like, dang, she got a. It's not like you got an STD or something. I'm looking at her like she got AIDS. I'm like, oh my God.
They don't. Okay, I'm not that harsh. Okay. God damn.
You changed the whole landscape of how I feel about
it.
Life.
It's true though. It changes everything.
But what you go ahead and get this knowledge of whatnot, it's over. It's your landscape. Your life changed.
It's not. You can't go back. You can't go back.
I'm sorry. Once I heard about once I got the information from you, whatnot, on what not to do, whatnot, it's over. I can't go and change it no more. I can't go back.
Yeah. And you're not. One thing I want young, like how you describe it, you're not hungry no more, right? You know how when before you have the knowledge, you're always hungry. What's the next woman? Oh, look at her body. Once you own yourself, that changes. I want young men to understand how that changes. It's not like that. I mean, you still look. Don't get me wrong. You still look. You admire, but it's not the same way as before. You know.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same way before. Whatnot. Now I look at it too now. Like, man, I dodged several bullets and whatnot. Like, I'm like,
right.
I don't even look at it like, oh man, I could have had her or whatnot.
right.
I'm like, man, you posting up on Facebook or whatnot, how you still loan debt or whatnot. This is like 2023. I'm like, I'm good. I'm so glad I did that right. I'm glad you rejected me. I'm cool. I'm cool on
that. Thank you. Bye. Thank you for rejecting me.
And somebody else could go and marry you, whatnot, and
Oh yeah. Yeah, you better believe debt slaves with student loan debt marry other debt slaves with student loan debt. They do.
Absolutely. Man, I'm just so glad to go ahead and get this information and whatnot. Like,
man, I'm happy. I'm happy it's working for you, man. I really am. I'm happy.
Absolutely. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and come on there and chop it up for you. Go.
All right, man. I appreciate you coming up. I do.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You have a good day. All right.
All right, you too, man. All right, man. I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it for coming. All right, until next time, you guys have a good Sunday night. All right, see you later.